So have you actually wondered what it takes to, price your program, and how do you actually price it? How do you actually stack different offers? And so that's what we're going to cover today, by showing you a very simple framework, how you can actually take this and have a think about it, or even use ChatGPT to plan this out for you. Okay, so what we want to do is basically, we're going to draw this against time and what results your customers will have, right? Or your prospects or your learners, whatever, however you describe them, right? So the idea is very simple. Usually they start from like zero, which is like somewhere here. And of course, learning with you, working with you, this is basically what you want to do, right? So you want to kind of figure out at each milestone here, or so let's say here and here, okay, I'm going to call this like R1. And then here is like your R2, and then etc, etc. So what does R1 mean? It basically means the results you're going to get, right? And so when I kind of design programs for my clients and stuff, we really want to think about what is the learning outcome for each stage. So for example, I help trainers build their own training academy. I help coaches build their, five-figure agencies. How do they get started, right? So for example, in my particular case, one of the things, like let's say the first concern they have is, oh, how do I sell? Okay, how do I sell myself? How do I do sales, without being salesy or pushy and stuff like that? Then once they actually master the whole mindset and the concepts, right, then you're like, okay, the next thing is, okay, now I know how to sell, but how do I market? How am I going to market myself, right? So we have our 3 days get shit done class where we sit down from scratch, even with no experience, from copies to design to launching ads, how to budget and stuff like that, right? So we have how to sell, how to market, right? And then that's the next step. And then the next step after that is, okay, how am I going to present something like this on, virtually, or to make it more engaging or create a lot of content? Then we have our OBS course, which is actually happening like next week and stuff like that. So can you see that after each segment, right, as the journey goes up, your learners are very clear when working with you, what is the progression, what is next steps, and then even after OBS, they become, let's say, a training provider, they want to build their own school, let's say it's HRD, Skills Future, or their own private coaching, it's really up to them. But basically, we have the framework, we have the leverage, we have the know-how. So based on just this flip chart alone, right, it's going to give you a lot of homework to do. And if you want that worksheet and that training, just comment the word pathways. I'll send them to you. Basically, it's a very short, like 5-10 minutes on diving deep into how do we actually, plan it out? How do we use, like, let's say, tools like AI to map this for us? A lot of times we know this, but we don't actually know how to kind of communicate this. So I hope that is helpful for you. Let me know what are some of your comments. Again, if you want to have this worksheet and follow through, deep dive, then just comment the word pathways. I'll send a worksheet to you, and you can just follow along with the virtual training.